Donald, you might need to hit the comedy road and do some stand up or something. You might be in the wrong profession.
Donald
Yeah.
did say he had a joke for us. Donald he's
Oh,
very
right.
active in our Facebook group, and he told us he had a joke for us tonight. So Donald, I'm gonna kick it over.
I can't tell the joke because it's
You can't tell the joke because we're going live.
No, because it's inappropriate. I said that in the comment. Actually, the comment says, "I'll tell you the joke after you stop by the WeFunder page."
The WeFunder page.
It's a good joke though, but the thing is, it's inappropriate, and it was funny because my buddy's kids were telling it, and like a 4-year-old. It's cute when it's but when an adult says it, somebody's gonna get in trouble.
Right. Well, you got in trouble once today already, so we don't want you to get in trouble again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead.
Actually, but to your point, I would like to do stand-up, but it's always very natural stand-up. You know what I mean? I can't script it. It's got to be very flowy.
Interesting. Okay. But when you have the Piggyback Network conference, we're gonna let you do stand up, right?
When I can't get fired.
Exactly. Unless Ish fires you, then that's a problem.
Which that would be fine, because that's a buyout, which is also fine.
I love it. Well, let us get started. Talisha is going to get us live. Worst case scenario, if we can't get live, we'll just go ahead and post this in the Facebook group and people can put it on replay. But I want to be very respectful of your time this evening and to the time of our community for coming out. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Tawana Rivers. I'm the CEO of the 10K Project, and we are here again for another 10K Project Bet on Black pitch. And as you guys can see, I am joined this evening by a lot of handsomeness, right? So we are not just highlighting one founder tonight. We decided to do a bit of a reunion show and bring back some founders who have blessed our community in the past and give you an opportunity to bring back some founders who have blessed our community. Oh, we must be live. Yeah, okay. Talisha got us live. Hey, Facebook. We are going to give the gentleman an opportunity to give us a summary of what their company is doing for those of you who have not yet seen their presentations, and then also to give us a bit of an update on what's been happening since they first presented to us. And in Donald's situation, right, this is the third time we're seeing Donald come from Piggyback Network. And so super excited to have all of the gentlemen come and share their campaign information with us. As we do every week, we'll be putting the campaign links in the chat. So you guys will have that. We'll also put it in Facebook in the comments. So those of you watching us there can have it as well. So with that said, I am going to get us started. And I think Xavier, because I'm going to go from left to right and the way I see you on my screen, Xavier, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. If you want to introduce yourself to the community for those who did not see you the first time, and tell us what's going on in your world.
Well, yes, I'm Xavier Gray. I am the founder and CEO of Tech and Flow. Man, today was busy, very busy day. And actually tomorrow I'm flying out to go to Charlotte for a big insurer and fintech conference. Today also met with another advisor who we're bringing on to the backside of our business. So our business, there's sort of two sides to it. There's a tech side and then an agency side. What we're about, though, is creating a financial planning experience to help young professionals. That's just a niche, but help young professionals build their first $250,000. And so we're doing that by combining financial education, coaching, and digital tools. And so we already have financial education live through our financial academy, not competing with the 10K project, but more personal finance driven. There are 13 courses in that academy. That academy's been live for about 2 years. There are about 45 subscribers that are in that academy. Our longest subscriber has been with us 20 months. The second part of what we did was the coaching side. So previous Tech and Flow, I spent 10 years working as a banker and as a financial advisor. And so effectively brought many of those clients and new clients underneath Tech and Flow. And so part of what we do is we sell other financial products and services behind the scenes. So insurances, life insurance and long-term care, disability and different investment tools. So that's the second side of the business, is that sort of coaching side. So again, today I met with another advisor beginning to, how do we replicate this? How do we scale it? So what is going to be important is, as the app is released and as the Tech and Flow community grows, there's going to be a need for people. Although I believe in tech for scaling, I think it's still valuable and necessary that we as individuals have people that we can still interact with and talk to about our finances, more sophisticated strategies. So I want to start building that talent pool behind the scenes, so that when you're in your app and you say, I want to talk to a person, you immediately are scheduled with a person and can interact with them. So today was he'll be the third advisor, but really he's number two. Yeah, I don't know what else. Oh, and then I was actually just messing around with our app. Our developers have made some pretty big progress. There are 4 sprints in the development of our app, and they're 3/4 of the way through the second sprint. And I was just on the dev link, and there's some new features that are already up and running. So that was pretty cool to go check their work, check their progress.
Very nice. So let me ask you a question, because Xavier, when you presented, I was on vacation and Talisha took care of you for the community, but I got some questions. So I am not your target audience, but I'm gonna get in because I can, right? And so, because I am not a young wealth builder, right? I am the opposite of that. But the 250K that you're trying to get these individuals to build, how are you tracking that for them? And how are they, or how are they reporting that back to you? Because I think that's an interesting concept, because it almost has this accountability piece to it. And I love that. It's almost like you're an accountability partner for their wealth building journey.
Yeah, financial planner in their pocket. Exactly. So I did this on the previous one. I find that the best answer is to show people. So I'll show you.
Perfect.
The very first thing that you're going to see as a user, subscriber on the tool, is your liquid net worth number at the top of the screen. The way that number is going to get there is you're going to, via Plaid, which if you've used any kind of finance tool, you probably have used Plaid without knowing it. But using Plaid, you can link all of your assets in one place. And we've even enabled it to where you can include real estate and crypto, which often is left off of many of the other tools that you see. And whatever can't be automatically linked via Plaid can be manually input and updated here. So to answer your question, how are we going to track their progress? Our app is quite literally going to do that.
Very good. Very, very good. And we have put the link for Tech and Flow in the chat. We'll do that throughout the evening. So for anyone who wants to grab that, look at the campaign page. Again, if you want to see the full presentation that Talisha and Xavier had, please go to your newsletter. For those of you who are members, paid members, you should get that every week in your email box. And for those of you who are not yet paid members, you can go to 10figureproject.com and become a paid member, and then you too can get that newsletter in your email box, so you can see the full replay. All right, Donald, you are next on my screen. Tell us about Piggyback Network. what you guys are doing and what updates and things have been happening since you presented earlier in the year.
Okay, thank you for having us. I appreciate it. Ismail is our CEO. I think I just saw an email that said that we only got one link. So though he tried to join, I get to be the spokesman for the day. So Piggyback Network, for those who don't know, is a parent-driven carpool solution. We help busy local parents match, meet, and schedule shared rides for their active kids in a closed group incentivized carpool marketplace. Primarily, we are focused on busy parents who are already driving their kids to school, after school activities and sports. Traditionally, those kids are between the ages of 5 and 16, but we know that children as young as 3 months and as old as 18 still need a ride. So there's no limitation, but as it relates to, as Xavier mentioned, as it relates to our niche, it's busy parents, kids 5 to 12, usually with more than one, because once you have more than one, you got to go separate directions. And so it starts causing a bunch of challenges from a parenting logistics perspective. We're also focused on removing cars from the roadways. So there is a sustainability and urban mobility and clean energy conversation that we've been having. But our primary focus, I'll say my primary focus, because Ish and I have overlapping belief, but we have different grounded, rooted reasons. And so I would say that my grounded, rooted reason is equitable access to future opportunity for our future leaders by removing the transportation barrier from the shoulders of the caregivers who have to provide that transportation today, thereby ensuring that in the future, we have a more equitable workforce. And currently, we have a more equitable workforce, right? Because in some conversations, the burden of youth transportation falls to the mom traditionally. And because of that, there's an extended burden as it relates to who has to do what with the hours available in our day. So if you look at our website, we have a little tagline that's more smiles, less miles. And that's kind of what we're working toward. Let's see, most recent awesome update. Okay, and there's Ish, holla. That's our CEO. Oh, right, and I'm the CTO and co-founder. What we've been up to most recently is we have an official partnership with the YMCA of Metro Chicago. And so that relationship allows us to have, I would use the word, more respect in the market that there are actually busy parents who would be willing to carpool for each other in their community, and that this service is needed and the challenges exist. I think, you know, when you're building a company, we say that we're going to meet an unmet need, but many times you got to prove that that need actually exists. And the way you prove it is with partnerships, traction, revenue, et cetera. And so we're on our way to, I would say, explosive growth. And so it's very exciting. There's a couple other things we've been working on. If Ish brings it up, then we can talk about it. If he doesn't, then we can't. But the YMCA partnership is public and it's readily available on their website, Metro Chicago. We're supporting 2 campuses right now via Metro Chicago. But because of that relationship, we've also opened dialogue with leaders in Houston, Austin, Boston, and Kansas City. So we continue to grow, right? Because there are busy parents everywhere. Everybody knows, well, busy parents know they're busy, and they also know that somebody else taking that kid to school would be a great help. But what we want to do is make it easier for people to say, can you help me? And then also, thank you. And so we're kind of removing the friction. And that primary friction actually is vulnerability. That's the thing we've learned. So from a society perspective, people don't necessarily want to ask for help, and they don't want to have to owe somebody. And carpooling is a function of both. Can you help me get my kid to school? Thank you, but I'm not giving you gas money. And then, why would I give you gas money anyway? Because you was going that way, right? It's a whole discussion. And so we fit right into the middle of all those conversations and feelings, while also elevating the lived experience of the people around. And so, yeah, and then I would say the final part is, since we last were here, we hit our first milestone on WeFunder. And so we're very excited about that. And so we're, on to the second milestone, which is continually raising money, primarily so that we can build an app, which we've started, but in order for us to finish it, that's why we're having these types of discussions. And then there's some things around insurance and just growth, right? The concept of growth requires additional capital and revenue. And so it's just been an exciting time, and we're happy to, as you mentioned, still be growing, right? Because we do have some peers who have pivoted a couple times already. There are some shops that have closed up. And so, when people are asking, what is success? Success is still going.
That's it.
Because there's a lot that are not still going. So, that's all I got. And I'll pass it to Ish. I don't know if I have more time.
Yeah, no. And I just want to touch on that before you pass it to Ish. First of all, hi, Ish.
How are you?
I'm well, sir. Donald is so right. And we've talked about this I think a couple of weeks ago, we talked about it, because the beginning of the year, I got 3 notices that 3 of my companies, right, my startup companies that I invested in were, closing down for different reasons, right? All capital related, but still different reasons, right? And so it saddened me, obviously, because we get invested. We're so excited to have the early seat at the table that we're following the journey, and we're so excited to be a part of it. And so I got really, really emotional when and it hit in the same week it hit. Was this shut down startup announcement day? It happened all in the same week. I was like, what did And so when I look at all of the companies we've highlighted here at the 10K Project, I think we're at 96 or something like that. Talisha, you can correct me if I'm wrong. These are journeys that we know we played a small part in, but I think we're as excited as you guys, right? Because it's we're all in with this, right? We want you to succeed. And so I think you're absolutely right. The just being able to do it one more day. And as a startup myself, right? Because we're still a startup too, right? We're 3 years and going strong, but every day we can get up and do this thing again and people pay attention is a good day, right? And every day we feel like we can keep the Zoom running because we got enough money to pay the bill this month, right? and I mean, that's a good darn day. And so the fact that you guys are here and able to come back and talk to us, and we can help you, for those of you who are on the second raise, for those of you who are on the tail end of the first raise, I'm just grateful the campaign was still active and we could come back, because we've got a few new members, right, that didn't have the opportunity, or like I said, maybe people's money wasn't right when you came the first time and now it's a little better, right? And so I anytime we can support, that is what I want to be able to do. So when all of you came here, one of the things that I know I said to you was, you family now, right? We're in this together. And anytime we can help and assist, that's going to be what we do. And so thank you all for coming and for, blessing us with this opportunity, because that's really how I see it. I know you see us as the blessing, but I see you guys as the blessing, because we don't get these opportunities. And the fact that we can give these opportunities now to our community through the Jobs Act is a big darn deal. And we're going to celebrate it every day and be grateful. So Ish, what else you want to add about what Piggyback Network is doing?
Sure thing. So yeah, apologies for being late. Link was giving me problems and just wasn't looking at the right email, it looks like. So what Donald mentioned, everything about the momentum is huge. The stuff that he and I talk about internally is the tip of the iceberg. We also have supporters who've been with us since day one, some who've come along as the snowball has started to roll. And while they're not able to invest financially, our service is something that we require parents and schools and youth facilitators and organization chairs and everybody to pass along. So what we have is our own network of mouthpieces. And because they can appreciate what we're bringing to parent communities, they're passing that along and talking to their board chairs, and they're talking to their parent liaisons, and they're talking to their volunteer coordinators at the school. And that's opening up doors for us that just the two of us can't do by ourselves. So the nature of what we learned 10K was about, the educating, using community, using our voice to collectively, gather up these dollars and support businesses. We're about that life on the investment side, but also on the sustainability of our business side. We don't work if we do this in a silo. We don't work if we don't reach out to the communities, listen to the parents, let us know what's the most valuable thing, what's your pain point, how do things work in your community, because we want to create a solution that can tend to those problems and have our investors be our customers. As they're starting to think of it, they're like, this is kind of brilliant. This is something like Donald was just saying earlier today. He wishes he could filter out the people we reach out to, because we get probably about 40% of the people hit that aha light moment. And he's like, I'm starting to like this aha moment. Let's only talk to them, the people that understand exactly what we're doing, can finish our sentences. And it's exciting when we run into them, because a lot of parents have taken it to the point of something needs to be done. But Donald and I have taken our skill sets and our experience, and we're actually putting it into motion. And it's blowing a lot of people's minds. They're like, you can really figure that out. You can use technology, you can code to get around this and that. How do you deal with insurance? We actually created our own product. All of the things that people have tried in the past and hit a barrier, we're feeling confident that, hey, we tackled that. We crushed it. And now we've got target dates. And now we can speak in the language of business executives and not just, two guys who are trying to, put something together. So very exciting for us, very excited to have you all as partners and, pushing us along and keeping us in your wallets and thoughts. We know companies are folding. We hear it all the time. When people hear we are running a startup as first-time founders, the statistics say, I don't know, 2% are going to make it past, a certain number of months, certain number of years. We're not paying attention to that. We're looking at it as, we know we have a solution. We know we have a team. We know we have a community of supporters, and we know this has to work. That's kind of the angle that we're taking towards it. So definitely appreciate, you guys inviting us and having a chance to reach the audience again, a chance to provide some of these updates. We're very excited about the things we have done that we're involved in right now, and some of the things we're still waiting for the yes or no to, because we're taking all the shots. We're applying for all the accelerators and going after all the grants and going after all the fellowships, anything we feel like our business can fall into, and some things we don't feel like we can fall into, but just taking that long Steph Curry shot just to see. We've tapped into transportation and mobility, obviously. We've tapped into clean energy accelerators. We're tapping into sustainable cities. There's a long list of UN initiatives that globally governments are trying to instill in their cities and towns by 2030, I believe. Transportation is a major piece of that, where they want some type of system that we can rely on to reduce the number of cars on the road and the amount of traffic and the amount of emissions. We fall into all of these little things, and if we can just tighten up those screws and have representation at all of these other tables, they're going to keep seeing our name and our faces pop up. Same solution. It's just now we're part of this. Now we're clean tech. Now we're family tech. Now we're clean energy. Now we're future of work. And it's an exciting feeling.
Wonderful. Very, very well done. Hello, Anthony. Anthony is with Eat Okra. Anthony, tell us what you guys at Eat Okra are doing. I'm so proud of myself. I was in Jersey a few weeks ago, Anthony, and we were trying to find, I wanted some oxtails. Like I I needed some oxtails in my life. And so we sat for about 30 minutes, like contemplating like where to go, and like called people and was like, where's the spot? And I was like, wait a minute, I got an app. And I pulled up the app and I found us a spot in Queens and we went and I mean, we ate and it was wonderful. So I'm excited because I'm like, wait a minute. And it took me, so we've got to be better about utilizing the resources that we have, right? Because when I tell you we sat there for 30 minutes twiddling and fooling around, and it wasn't until I was like, wait a minute, that's something that can solve this problem. And it solved the problem within a minute, right? So thank you so much for that. But tell us what you guys are doing at Eat Okra.
Yeah, thank you. We get that story, more lately, more than, than the early days. So it's cool to see that people are starting to remember and adopt, like, hey, there's an app for that, an app for us to find Black-owned restaurants in whatever city you are in the United States. So I want to take a step back and answer a question that probably a few of your members are wondering, and why Eat Okra? So okra, I wonder how many of you eat okra, and does it like have a taste in your mouth when you hear the word okra? A lot of people have like this crazy reaction to it. It's pretty funny the kind of stories I get just off the word okra and how it was first introduced to them. But so my family is from the South. Our roots is in Louisiana. My wife's roots are in Sumter, South Carolina. She's Geechee folk. Okra is a seed that settled in the South. It's cooked in gumbos and stews, and gumbo, and in the other ways as well. But it's used in the ingredients to thicken the gravy to combine. And so Eat Okra is really a nod to our heritage, and it's a combining ingredient. It's for us to bring communities together through Black food. So Eat Okra is on a mission to help millions of people find community and culture through food. Back in 2016, I developed the app. Bootstrap was doing it as a full-time job, and put out the first version in about 7 months. As soon as we put it out, people started adopting it, and we eat it by itself. See, people love to tell me how they eat that okra. But yeah, so 6 months, fast forward, 4, 5, 6 years now, Eat Okra is used amongst 500,000 people have downloaded Eat Okra, supporting over 18,000 Black-owned restaurants across the United States, and primarily in our bigger cities, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, LA, Houston, Detroit. The app has garnered some amazing attention from Good Morning America, CNN. We have amazing partnerships with Pepsi, Uber Eats, Bacardi, Apple Maps, and we also were given an award about 2 years ago for Connection, because of the work that we've been doing to really drive spend in dollars and visibility and amplification to Black-owned restaurants. We maintain about an 8.7, 4.7 app developer rating, with about 2,000, a little over 2,000 reviews now on the app. Currently, we have an existing partnership with Pepsi. You might have seen it. It's called Dig In Restaurant Royalty, where you guys can now go ahead and kind of vote for your favorite restaurant, and an opportunity to win some sweet prizes, and even a trip, I believe, to Vegas. So with the work that we're doing on Eat Okra, we have built out a solution to allow the diner or the eater, the foodie, to order from your favorite Black-owned restaurants. We've signed up, and this is kind of the update too. We've signed up 40 restaurants on the platform here in Brooklyn as our launch city, where we're building the go-to-market plan that we'll be able to use to multiply and evolve across different cities as we grow. Our goal is to get to about 600 restaurants this year, in the first year post raising funds, of course. Everything we've been doing so far has been completely bootstrapped, except for the brand money we've been getting through our partnerships. I am the CTO and CEO right now. I built the app for the first 4 years. Now we have a team of 4 developers overseas and 4 full-time employees. They come from Google. They come from Uber Sales, who leads our head of sales for Eat Okra. We have a team from MasterCard and the U.S. Army, Homeland Security, round out our team. We generate revenue from premium service fees for pickup and delivery. And then we also get brand money from our corporate sponsors. So yeah, in total, Eat Okra has about 18,000 restaurants listed, which is about a quarter of the restaurants nationwide. So we have an amazing lead list, and we're raising money to really like get in front of our restaurants. It was raising money to get customer adoption, and drive more sales toward on Eat Okra's delivery solution, which will be launching by the end of the month. We just got a major partner in Toast POS, which is the largest POS platform, point of sale, in the United States. With them, that means we'll be able to onboard our restaurants about 7 days faster than normal. They'll be our champion with us. They'll have their sales team will be informing their clients that Eat Okra is now another revenue opportunity for you to get sales, right? In this game, it's about getting orders from wherever you can get orders. If it's walk-in, if it's on the third-party platforms, and now it's Eat Okra. And then we also hit 1 million restaurant views since we last spoke as well, which is a pretty huge accomplishment, I feel. As a company that doesn't have spend money on advertising and things like that, it's important that, and proof that people are using the app every day. We average about 13,000 monthly active users. Again, with no advertising. So we're really just raising money to boost those numbers, to get it into the 30,000 monthly active users and onwards, and really like retrain our customers to now think of Eat Okra as another solution to order food from a Black-owned business, period, or order from, find your oxtails, or find some African West Caribbean food, or even Italian and pizza. We also are probably going to add restaurants like Chick-fil-A, who are Black ownership, Black operators. One of them, the one in Brooklyn, is a investor of ours, and he's one of our bigger investors. So super happy to have him on board and get the conversation going, and how we can get the rest of the 147 franchisees that are Black owned. Had conversations with Papa John's as well. So yeah, we're moving, without funding. We've been moving. We did hit a milestone on WeFunder, as it's still open in stealth mode. So love to talk more to your community about that and have them on board as well. But delivery apps and tech-enabled driver networks have unlocked, a ready-to-eat food delivery as a major category in the United States, and it's not going away. We like convenience. And I don't think people are going to go back to the old days of always driving and cooking and things like that, at least in certain segments of the population.
Yeah.
Very
good.
Any more updates for me? I feel like I've been rambling for a while.
No, that was good. That was good. I'm sure you'll think of something else as we ask questions. But one of the things that I think is cool is last summer, I think it was, we had a Black futurist come on. His name is Brendan Moore. And Brendan came on. First of all, we were amazed that we found a Black futurist. But Brendan came on and he was dope too. He came on and he said, Black tech. We were like, what should we focus on? He's like, Black tech. So I love that we've got, 2 tech companies, and then for Ish and Donald to hear that you're working on an app. I absolutely love that, because that fits in the portfolio model that we were told we needed to follow. And we were told that specifically Black tech was what we needed to focus on. And so, congratulations to all of you guys for the accomplishments that you have, and for the community, in addition to, sharing the link and deciding if you want to add this to your own portfolio. We need to be downloading these apps. We need to be customers as well, right? We need to be walking billboards for these things, right? So obviously I was in the room that day, I was in the room with 5 other people. So guess what? They downloaded the app too, because they was like, whoa, what is this? Like you're sitting on gold here. And they all downloaded the app, right? So we need to do more of that, right? We need to be, after we attend these sessions, we need to be talking about what we see every Tuesday, because that's how we're going to make sure these doors stay open. Also, sharing the link and investing, those things are necessary. But if we're not talking about it and bragging about it and, you know, big up in these companies when we send posts out to our friends or we post something on the social media, like, we need to be doing that. That is all under the umbrella of the support that we need to give these founders. So if you've not downloaded Tech and Flow yet, please download it. Do we already have actually, can you put, Xavier, can you put the link in where they can go to download it? Or what it's called, that they can find it in the App Store? And the same for you. I mean, Anthony's is easy because it literally is, you just go to the App Store and put Eat Okra and it pops up. So that one's really easy. And obviously Piggyback, when you guys get your app up and running, you know, you need to send that thing over so we can put it in the newsletter. But we need to also be consumers in addition to the other support that we give. We've got a couple of questions. Looks like Stephen had a couple of questions. So Stephen asked, were you guys mentoring? And I saw Ish, you responded that, you know, for you and Donald, certainly, and you put some information in where Stephen can reach out to you. Xavier, what about you? Are you mentoring?
Sure, why not?
You said I am now.
I mean, I like you guys have already said and alluded to, and really what this community stands for. I mean, I think it's important that we help each other, and I think it's important that we share knowledge and resources. And so certainly if there's value I can add, I'll add it. If there's not value I can add, I'll just tell you there's not value I can add.
I love that. Very, very good. Anthony, what about you, sir?
I've spoken to a few people. I am not like a consistent mentor right now. I would love to be one if anyone ever asked. But time is limited right now these days, sort of baby, you know, family, a full-time job. But no, I definitely want to help out how I can. So I'm always willing to take a call, listen, and share some advice and some experiences.
Nice. Very good. Stephen had another question. Stephen's question said, what's customer adoption? So Stephen, can you be more specific on what
I think I understand
You can answer that?
why
Okay.
I mentioned that. Yeah, I think
Go
I
ahead,
understand why I mentioned it. So Eat Okra has primarily been for the last 4 years more of a Yelp model. We've had, I think in our app, we have about 6,000 reviews. You know, you can do ratings, you can share, you can, so it's really it was more of a social platform. You can create collections and share those collections and follow people, follow collections. What's new about Eat Okra is that you can order food for pickup and delivery natively within the app. We don't send you to another platform, and you still get that delivery experience with the tracking as we work with the major platforms, third-party white labeling delivery platforms to do that last mile delivery. So the adoption part is training people to now think of Eat Okra not just as like a discovery tool, but actually an ordering tool.
Very, very good. Okay. Carlos said, would love for Eat Okra to hook up with Black and Mobile, Black-owned delivery company. So yeah, Black and Mobile, one of the co-founders is David Bello, right? So you know David, Anthony?
Yeah, I've known David for, gosh, I guess at least like 4 years now, 4 or 5 years now. I think we've been waiting for our technical abilities to match before we can really like fully work together in a real meaningful and less, you know, in an automated way. So that conversation is still on the table to be had. But yeah, they're definitely going to be hopefully be you know, that white label solution we use, especially in cities where they're at, like Philly, part of Atlanta, I believe, Chicago. Yep. Very
good. Another question for you, Anthony. Jackie's asking, have you heard of Macrobytes? So they're a company out of New Jersey. I forget what city in New Jersey. Miss Jackie, do you know what city they're in? But they're a company, so they are Black owned, obviously, restaurant. Amazing guys. they must have a new CEO, Jared Atkins, but they had a different CEO. It's a group of 4 childhood friends, and they started a business together, and they are big on community building. So like they're feeding the neighborhood, and they've got a social component to the company as well, and also a health consciousness component to the restaurant. But I forget what
Yeah.
city they're in.
No, I've not heard
I
of
am an
them.
investor in that company, so why I know so much about it. And they're one of the 10K project alums as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Very
make
good. Okay.
an introduction. Miss Jackie, that's a good, I'll make an introduction. Let me make a note. Okay. Rain is asking, she says, hello, Mr. Edwards. Thanks for returning. Is your Eat Okra app solely for Black-owned restaurants, or are there other ethnic restaurants and Black-owned businesses?
It's solely Black-owned restaurants. We do see a path to duplicate what we've done and make it available to other specific ethnic groups as well. Yeah, part of my team is like really excited to get to that place, but we have a lot to do to get there. But it's certainly an option. But Eat Okra will always be Black-owned.
Very, very good.
Black-owned and operated.
Thank you, Teresa. Teresa said they're in Asbury. Macro Bites is in Asbury, New Jersey. Thank you for that, Teresa. I remember Jersey, but I didn't remember the city. Very good. What other questions do you guys have for these wonderful gentlemen? Right? The goal is to remove your barrier of entry, ask any question. If you guys could ask the founder of Facebook questions before you invested, I know you'd have questions. And so that is why we're here, right? So that you can ask all of your questions to these founders, because they're going to be bigger than Facebook one day. And so you get to say, I was on live with these founders, and I was able to ask them all of the questions about what they see for the company. That exit strategy question always comes up. Let's ask that question again. As you guys are going forward, and you all have experienced some ups and some downs, right? And the company's vision has expanded beyond where you started. Do you see your exit plan strategy has changed, or is it the same as when you started? And so I'll start with you, Xavier. Is your exit plan strategy the same today as it was day one?
Pretty much, actually. I mean, we're still pretty young, so we haven't had to pivot from that lens just yet. So the exit has been that some other financial services provider, whether it was more of like a 401k type company like an Empower or like a Fidelity or a Vanguard, or whether it was more of like a insurance company or financial planning company like a Northwestern Mutual or a Guardian or a Mass Mutual, we imagined that one of those companies would acquire us. And so as a result, we're applying for a lot of those. I mean, like Ismail was mentioning, like there are all these different accelerators, InsurTech or FinTech, and usually these companies are the ones that write the checks behind the scenes to support these accelerators. So we're trying to get on their radar as fast as possible. And then a big part of our go-to-market is going to the independent RIA network, registered investment advisors. So there's either broker dealers or there's registered investment advisors. Those are the two kind of common structures, or the only structures for anybody supplying financial advice. So we're going to that network of advisors and basically offering our tool as a solution that they could use to solve some of their problems, similar to how QuickBooks approached their go-to-market. So no, the exit's still the same, the vision's still the same. We just got a lot of work to do before we get that exit.
Got it. Donald, Ish, what about you guys?
I would say one thing that's been modified. 2 years ago, we sat down and we were really thinking between IPO and acquisition, which one we preferred. just in educating ourselves and speaking with more founders, more VCs, we've learned a lot about the other options. There's a ton of ways that businesses can exit, and you've got mergers, you've got acquisitions, something called acqui-hires, you've got management buying out their shares. There's a lot of different variations of how the end goal looks. One thing for us is we're still a few weeks pre-revenue, so we're waiting for that first dollar to come in, not necessarily looking at what that last dollar looks like. But we have heard from different sources, IPOs are headaches to deal with. So it's kind of like we're putting a peg in that one, but we're learning along the way which one might make the most sense. It might be a merger situation where we fit into a larger transportation networks niche of they've never touched, youth transportation. We could fit into something. I joked with Donald when we first started, someone like a Costco who's got family customers at the ready, and they just spin up. You've got mattresses for sale at Costco, you've got tires, you've got all these things that the warehouse just keeps growing and absorbing. That might be something that we end up pitching them because it's not part of their wheelhouse right now. So we've got a lot of different options because our solution touches across anybody that's raising children in the next 10, 15 years. We'll probably have this same conversation in 7 years and be looking at a totally different, short list of options to get out. But we know we got to deliver that revenue first and then think of that second.
Nice. I love that Costco play because when I'm a Costco member and
everybody is.
Everybody is. They got the auto, they got the travel, and you don't know about a lot of their benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that book that you get on the way
I took
out,
that book when we were building it, and I started looking through it, and I was like, no,
they
one
offer
really
a
looked
lot
at
of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. That's a good play. All right, Donald, did you want to add anything to that?
I won't add anything extra, but I will say from a market perspective, because Uber has started testing the market for teenage riders, it shows that there is a market need there, right? We've said it exists, but we're just two dudes. Right. Uber has said it exists. Now, carpooling and ride hailing is very different. But the challenge that's being addressed is helping parents get their kids somewhere. And so I would say just from an exit strategy perspective, we're more confident that we fit into a growing market because of the actions and activities by those in our similar market.
Very good. Anthony, what about you? Has the exit plan strategy changed?
No, I don't think it's changed. Similarly to Ishmael, we're still young. We've generated revenue, not nearly as much as we want to be, but our goal is to be acquired, merged or acquired. So yeah, no, it's still the same. Still working on that grind to get to, annual gross.
Nice, very good. And I love, Ish, that you talked about learning the alternative ways that there is an exit, because we typically hear when somebody says IPO, your eyes light up, right? Because that's like the ultimate dream, right? To have a company IPO. But there are other ways. And I heard recently how much money, someone told me that you need about $11 million before you even think about IPOing. And I was just like, really? And they said, yeah, that's just to get through the paperwork and the process. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And they were like, absolutely not. So when you hear a company say, we want to IPO, ask a few questions, because it's not as easy as that. It's what the person was saying to me. It's not as easy as just saying you want to do it. Like, it takes a lot to get to that stage. It
really does. And it's talking to other founders. Anytime I meet someone who says there's a 3-time founder, they're a 5-time founder, I start to kind of go in on those questions and say, how did you exit? What have you done? And to learn that they've got 3 companies behind them that you'll never hear about because those companies have been absorbed or they merged or they weren't even, large to start with, or they failed. No one really examines what those three founded companies look like when someone says I'm a three-time founder. We've been asking those questions. We're picking away at it. Can I ask a question of Anthony?
Absolutely.
You mentioned you've got Pepsi, you named a couple of other as brand, I don't know if you call them brand sponsors. When you have a partnership with Pepsi, does it impact any restaurant that might be Coke driven or anything like that? Do they have any kind of like, we want to keep them off your radar, or are you kind of free to still roam around and absorb the companies you want?
Yeah, so we don't have an exclusivity with Pepsi. So no, we are still talking to any restaurant that uses whatever beverage provider. It does get a little bit tricky when we when we do a lot of things with partnerships, we do like campaign work, and often they'll want a Pepsi pour to really promote. If it's going to be like a national kind of activation or something like that, then they'll kind of pay attention to who is like a Pepsi pour. But no, it largely doesn't affect us if they're Coke.
Thanks.
Good. Banny has a question for you, Anthony. It says, do you see the service adding a video component so that someone can see their meal from order to delivery for an extra fee of making sure the meal hasn't been compromised? Not sure if this would be an option for you to add.
A video component, I think. I'm thinking like, is this tracking? Are we talking about tracking? So I don't.
They want to know nobody's eating out of their French fries.
Yeah, I think Banny is
Yeah.
thinking like a video, a camera, right? And pointing to the back of the vehicle, right? Where all the deliveries are, making sure nobody's opening that bag and peeling off that sticker and stealing a French fry.
Yeah. That technology is far from here right now. That's something we probably wouldn't be able to build. But I get the sentiment and the need for it. I don't want nobody in my food too. I'm tight when the restaurant doesn't staple my bag shut. But yeah, no, that's definitely been an issue with certain platforms, with the food. That's why we've wanted to make sure we are robust in the information we're sharing with you, so we're providing a similar experience so that the restaurant has it, it's being prepared, it's been picked up, it's on its way, it's approaching, and now it's been delivered. But yeah, we are going to have a video component, but it won't be related to that. It'll be related to more about the experience, the review experience. It'll be related to celebrating restaurant wins and doing interviews and things like that. So like a video component is a really big part of where we want to grow into in the few years. Is making sure that we're just celebrating stories, talking about the wins, always driving it back to like a purchasing decision on the platform. So that's kind of like how we're thinking about video.
I love that addition because in my experience, after I found the restaurant, I did go to their YouTube page because I wanted to see the food in real time. Like I didn't want to see a picture of it. I wanted to see people eating the food, right? And so I did go to their YouTube. They happened to have quite a few videos and I was able to see the people's plates and all of that stuff. So if you had something like that, that would have kept me on just your platform, right? And I wouldn't have had to seek that experience that I was looking for. And I was trying to see, was this going to be the vibe we were looking for and all of that stuff. And I was able to find that because this particular restaurant had a YouTube presence. We know that that's not the case with all restaurants. So I lucked out. But that's going to be a great addition, I think. Very good.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. That piece of it, I'm like, okay, we put some plates on there. Okay.
Yeah. Xavier asked a question earlier, Anthony, and how do you find the restaurants?
Yeah, so on any of our platforms, anyway, you can kind of get to Eat Okra for our website on the mobile app. There's a button on one of the pages that says recommend a restaurant. So in 2020, we had 8,000 new restaurants get submitted to us, which really prompted us to like start our first crowdfunding or friends and family round. where we raised about 30,000. But since then, people are still every day submitting new restaurants to us. And we have a team of people that kind of do that work too. They'll target, certain cities for a week or so and just try to get as many restaurants as we can. They also like call and verify restaurants, or validate that they are Black owned through other media sources or work that's already been done.
I see. I'm on the app now. I went on the more page. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that you even embedded your investment link and a customer survey through it. You were pretty savvy in how you did this. Kudos.
Everywhere we can put it, it's gonna go there. on my stuff.
That's great.
Very good. So do you guys do anything to track the closures of these restaurants so that the app is always fresh, right? That it's always places that are actually still in business?
We have a rotation that we built out, so we kind of the folks that are going through the platform and like managing the data, the restaurant management piece of it, they'll call restaurants to occasionally, just call and verify. We are thinking about like a technical solution to just like spam call folks to make sure they're answering the phone at least. And then, in the rest, people are writing us all the time to let us know that, this restaurant is out of business. So we definitely want to do a more technical approach to it. But right now, we call, and if we catch it, we catch it. Otherwise, the community is helping us keep the data clean.
Nice. Very good. Any final questions for the gentleman?
I know we're close to time, but Anthony, if you could let me know if my jerk chicken place is out of breast before I drive there through your app, I'll pay for that premium membership.
If they're out of what?
Out of chicken breast. They don't tell you when you call in. You have to show up and they say, nah, we out.
Yeah. So even with our online ordering, restaurants get 8069 items. So hopefully they're doing that. 8069 means it's out. So we can use that perhaps. But yeah, you're not the first person. Somebody else said that.
And
on,
oxtails.
Lorraine said it, oxtails. And for sure the oxtails, they never have them when by the time you get there, the oxtails been gone since.
They won't say it when you call in. They want you to come into the
They
store
want you
because
to
they know
come.
once you smell the food, you're gonna leave with something. But just let me know.
The jerk patties be out all the time here in New York, killing me.
Yeah, exactly.
Salmon patties gone.
Actually,
Oh,
that you might not want to do that because that might hurt the business of the restaurant because they do that on purpose.
mm.
You have to think about the unintended consequence because they might be lying on purpose. I mean, we know we didn't have no chicken, but y'all gonna get this fish. But if you tell them there was no chicken, then now they're not selling that fish.
And now they're gonna go somewhere else. Right. Because that's a good point. Because had you told me there were no oxtails, I wasn't coming still because I wanted oxtails, right? I didn't want anything else. Yeah.
Sometimes that transparency isn't always what we need.
Right.
That's
The
right.
restaurant needs.
That's right.
Exactly. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions for these wonderful founders? All right, well, I'm going to give my final statement and then I'll go around and let the gentleman give theirs. You guys know what I'm going to tell you, right? Do your due diligence. Please consider adding these businesses to your portfolio, but share the heck out of these campaign links, right? That's my spill, right? It's what I tell you every single week. My story's not going to change. The mission that we have here is going to be the same week after week after week. We're here to support. Those are the ways that we do it, right? We're going to also take some time and download these apps, right? And we're going to start telling our friends about them because consumerism is one of the things we know we do well. And so we need to do it, right? All the time and consistently within our own community. So with that, I'm going to say, Xavier, what are your final words for the community?
First off, I'm glad that everybody's taking their time, appreciative of that. I know it's late for me, so that's challenging. I would say just stay in tune. I saw that there was a number of people that have subscribed to our email campaign. I know that we've already received support from a number of people through the WeFunder campaign. There's a lot that's happening. We're moving pretty quickly, I'm sure, just like these guys. And so we're going to do our best job to keep everybody up to date, but just stay in touch with what we're doing. And then, obviously, as you alluded to, if there's someone that's in your life that you feel could really use our services, then send them our way.
Very good. Anthony?
Yes, thank you all for taking the time to, listen to all three of us today. You could be home or doing anything else, but yes, first and foremost, please share with your network, with friends and family. This is Juneteenth coming up. It's an opportunity to educate and allow folks to give back to Black-owned businesses, especially, Juneteenth. So, consider that. Also, share our apps, download it, use it, be champions. You can find me at okra.com. Happy to have a conversation and talk further about the opportunity. Please visit our page as well, and just download the app more than anything.
Very good. Thank you so much, Anthony. And before I go to Donald and Ish, I want to say, one of the things I think I left out is if we have relationships, when I think about Piggyback Network, they've got this partnership with the YMCA. If we know community organizations where this business is a good fit, right? We've got relationships with schools. We need to be reaching out and sharing those connections, because you guys in this community, y'all rock. Y'all always know somebody or know something or know somebody knows somebody. And so this is one of those times where we need to make sure we're sharing that information with our founders for these connections. I know some of you guys have relationships with some of these large school systems in these large cities, and Piggyback Network is one of those companies for sure that can benefit the families. I know when they came on the first time, I shared with you guys, as a single parent, I wish I had a service like this that I could have tapped into, right? And so, we need to be utilizing some of these connections we have and sharing that information. So as you guys give your final thoughts, I just wanted to share that with the community, because I know they're sitting on a connect for you. I know they are. Go ahead, Ish, Donald, which one of you want to take it, or share the love with the final statement?
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first. Ms. Tawana, as always, we really appreciate what you're bringing to the table. Everyone that's listening to the call and to the replay, understand the power that you guys are sitting on right now, that a lot of us are sitting on. This has only been possible since 2012. We've run into a lot of companies that we know as household companies right now that started off as startups, and we would not be invited to be part of that startup process. We met a gentleman who told us about the founding 5 that invested in Uber, and he said he was one of the 6, and he did turn it down. And as he told us that, he said our pitch was stronger than his pitch at the time for Uber. So it was like an eerie feeling, like, what could come of this? And to know that we are able to bring our friends along with us on this journey, to learn from our friends, to meet new people, meet new founders. I've connected with both of the other founders on the panel tonight. Like, this is a strong time with all of the information and technology that we have access to. And we are in positions to completely turn the tide on what the next 10, 15, 30 years looks like in technology and apps and businesses and entrepreneurship. And the audience listening, you are a major driver in that. If you have friends that you feel a little ashamed that you're in this investment group, or you haven't told anybody about it because you haven't seen a return yet, or you hear about all of the news going on about failures, let them know, bring them in. We can persuade our friends to become part of this. We try to get our friends that have ideas to become founders with us, because then we have more to talk about. All that, you're too busy to hang out. I'm not busy to hang out. Starting a business, go get you one too, and you'll be busy too. We want this for everyone. We want everyone to be able to put that idea into action, see if we can find some backing for it, see if we can fine tune it. You've got mentors, you've got helpers, you've got a network. They're out there. Take a lead, jump out there, and your network will find you. Ours has found us, and we're happy that we found you guys, and always happy to help and share our message and our updates with you guys. So thank you.
Wonderful. Donald?
Yeah, I'll just end with a very big thank you. primarily a function of the comfort that we feel when we're chatting. The VC conversations and the investment conversations and all the narrative around the stress of trying to build a business creates a lot of pressure on us. But I think the first time we were here, we had a good time. The second time we came back, it was like we was all just hanging out, you know. It feels like family, right? I don't feel the pressure and the stress of sharing our story when having this discussion relative to when we have to go be buttoned up and tight and be concerned about what word we used and right. And I think a lot of that then also then translates to our comfortable ability to encourage and empower others to invest, because it is a lot of risk involved. And you know, you have to have the money to play with, but at least we are playing with the money smartly rather than just giving it away to somebody else. And so, you know, as the others mentioned, and I'll just repeat it, thank you for taking your time to build this community, because we know, you know, everybody expects you to be able to do it, and then they want to call and they you know, it's a lot of expectations.
Right, right.
Nobody fully appreciates how hard this shit is.
Right.
So, you know, thank you. And thank you for allowing us to be comfortable. You know, it's
Yes.
hard.
It is,
Yeah.
it is hard. I agree. You know, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you guys for following your visions and your dreams and your goals. You each experienced an issue, right? A problem. And instead of just complaining about it like we oftentimes do, you created a business around solving it. And so part of celebrating you is that, you know, many of us are watching this and they may have their children in the room with them, right? And they get to see Black excellence at its best, right? They get to see people who have followed their dreams and they're doing it. And even though it's hard, you're doing it. And so the role model aspect of this is something that I want to celebrate you for, because we need to see people doing this thing so that more of us can do it. There are so many entrepreneurs in hiding, right? They've got the business model sitting in the nightstand drawer, right? Where they scribbled down this wonderful idea, but they didn't have anybody to encourage them or anyone to say, you know, you could do it, or here's a couple of dollars, go do it, right? And so they're never going to experience what we all are experiencing, right? They may be too afraid to do it, or they may not have the confidence to do it. My hope is that they come across one of these pitches, right? And they see people doing it and living it and being successful at it and moving forward and being able to give these updates because you've got partnerships and connections and you're going to build an app now and all of these things that happen over time, that it encourages them to pull that idea out of that nightstand drawer, right? And they actually do something with it. And so that's my dream and hope for today, is that somebody's looking at all of you and that they are inspired by the great work that you're doing, and they believe enough in themselves to take a chance on themselves. And so thank you guys for being an inspiration to all of those people who are watching, who will watch, and for those people that, you know, the lives of the businesses that you have created will be changed, right? And no matter how small or large that change is, you are each affecting someone in a positive way. That day with them oxtails, your girl was happy, right? And so Anthony affected my life in a positive way, right? Xavier is building wealth. You know, Piggyback's making it easier for parents to have balance and peace of mind. All of these things matter. Life is hard, right? Every little bit of help that we can get to live this thing called life a little better, a little more with ease, is a blessing. All of you are contributing to that, to people's lives. And so thank you very, very much, gentlemen. I am forever grateful that you have blessed our audience, our community, once, more or like that you were crazy enough to come back again. Like Like, I am grateful. And so I am, you know, supporting you and praying for you and sending good energy to all the deities, right? So that you guys could be successful. That is my goal and wish for all of you. Much success, whatever that means for you. If it's billions of dollars, if that's what it is, if it's changing lives, whatever success looks like for you and your business model, I want that for each of you. And here at the 10K community, we absolutely appreciate that you've done this, because we know equity crowdfunding is not for the faint of heart. We know, I don't care what the commercials say, this shit is hard. And I am so glad that you guys are doing it and giving us this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, guys, have a good night to the community. We'll see you again next week where we're going to do this thing all over again.
See you
Happy
guys.
Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Vida.